Israel's ties with Turkey took a nosedive last week. After more than 2.5 years of diplomatic fights, Turkey kicked out Israel's ambassador from Istanbul and downgraded ties to their lowest possible level, that of second counsel. What many believed was just a rough patch in ties between the two countries has now come to a near collapse. My next guest says that Israel has, quote, lost Turkey for the next few years. That's the opinion of Alon Liel. He was the former director of Israel's foreign ministry and a one-time ambassador to Turkey. I interviewed him today here in Mevatzeret Zion outside of Jerusalem, and I began by asking him what went wrong between Israel and Turkey.
It started in December 2008, on the first day of Operation Cast Lead. And when we had this massive attack on Gaza, Air Force attack, an hour later there was already a big demonstration in Istanbul. Turkey was very, very critical about this attack, about the whole war in Gaza. And the deterioration started since this war. Every month we used to have, sometimes twice a month, an Erdogan attack, personally, him saying directly, not through spokespeople. And things started to deteriorate.
Of course, the flotilla played another role.
True. But the flotilla came at the end of May 2010, which was a year and a half after the crisis started. We were already in a very serious crisis. The flotilla was, in a way, an outcome of the crisis. But once we killed 9 Turkish citizens who were on the Mavi Marmara, things further deteriorated. Turkey added the demand for an apology, and you know the rest. We couldn't reach an agreement about the wording of an apology and about settling the conflict.
So this is a very serious break in diplomatic ties. I mean,
it is. Especially so because we had a love affair between the two countries for about 10 years. And there is a lot of content. There was a lot of military content. There is a lot of economic content still. There was a lot of tourism content, cultural content. And so there is a lot to destroy. It's not a deterioration between two countries that had nothing to do with each other.
Do you think the relationship can be repaired? And if so, how?
No, I don't think they can be repaired when it comes to the bilateral level. It's not that if we will apologize now, it can be repairing the damage, or if we'll send a delegation. It will gradually heal through changes in the region. And the way to repair the damage is to make some progress on the Israeli-Arab peace process, especially the Israeli-Palestinian peace process. And I think through these regional developments we can repair the damage.
You've met the Prime Minister of Turkey a number of times. What do you think is really behind his change right now? Is he really willing to risk ties with Israel, or is he grandstanding because it will boost his image to take an anti-Israel stance?
Look, not only that I met him, I wrote 2 books about him, and I can answer in 2 or 3 hours this question. But to try and sum it up to a few sentences, I don't think Erdogan is an anti-Semite. He is a religious Muslim. He's closer to the Arab world than to Israel. But I don't think that his initial intention was to destroy the relations with Israel. We are having contacts with him now on the official level 9 years. He's 9 years in power. 6.5 out of the 9 were very reasonable. On average, we had, even in these 6.5 years, we had some ups and downs, but we had good relations in 2005 when he visited. We had good relations in 2007 and 2008 when he was asked by our Prime Minister to mediate between Israel and Syria. So the collapse came at the end of 2008, and I think both sides are to be blamed for the fact that we couldn't repair the damage.
Erdogan is in Cairo today. What do you think he's trying to do in Egypt? I mean, traditionally Egypt and Turkey have not had great ties.
The Turks liked very much the Egyptian revolution. I think Turkey was the first Western country to call Mubarak to leave. During the Mubarak time, their relations were cool, even tense. They feel much more comfortable with a new Egypt at the moment. They would like to assist Egypt economically, and they have the ability to do it. And they would like to be the model with this demo-Islamic new Turkey of being more religious, but more modern and more democratic than the previous Turkey, being a model for Egypt. And many people in Egypt see the new Turkey, the Erdogan Turkey, as a model. This is the reason he is so well received there. We have to understand regarding Israel that Turkey is a hostile country to Israel today and will damage Israeli interests in the region, probably also in Egypt, probably also during this visit. And we have to take this factor into consideration. I think though the people who decided not to apologize knew that it is coming, and it came. And Turkey will work against us in the region, also maybe globally, but especially in favor of the Palestinians and in favor of the Hamas.
Is there anything that Israel can do to reverse that, to mitigate against that?
I think we should just take into consideration Israel from now on, that we lost Turkey for a while, maybe for years now, and work on the things that can repair the damages done not only with Turkey, but also with Egypt and with other countries that were here 10 years ago, Morocco, Tunisia, through seriously dealing with trying to solve the conflict with the Palestinians. This is the core of the whole thing. If we will sit with the Palestinians and talk again, especially if there'll be progress and it will be seen by the Middle Eastern countries as moving toward an agreement, then it will pop up, not only with Turkey, with other countries in the region too.
There are some people who say that maybe your viewpoint is naive, that if we solve the Palestinian problem, the region will suddenly embrace us. How do you respond to that?
We never tried. Or if we tried, during Oslo, it paid, the dividends came immediately. Until 1994, the year after Oslo, we had diplomatic relations with about 60 or 65 countries. In 94, we added about 100 countries. The Asian countries, the African countries, big change in Eastern Europe and so on. So we already saw the dividends of progress, but it was not finalized, so it couldn't have been really tested. We never had peace with the Palestinians. We had a declaration of principles, but it was never implemented fully. So I think to those who are skeptical, I would give the example of the second half of the 90s, the way Rabin was received internationally before he was killed, and even the way Sharon was received internationally after the disengagement. When we are moving toward peace, it pays, especially in the region, Today, Israel is more isolated in the Middle East than ever before. We never, since we were founded, were so isolated. We always had one or two strategic friends or allies in the region. If it was Iran, if it was Turkey, if it was Egypt. Now we have nobody. Nobody.
Do you think that's going to result in a lot more money being put into defense systems, the defense budget?
Sure. We are building walls all over. We have a wall in the West Bank. We're building a wall with Egypt. We have a wall on Gaza. We have a wall with Lebanon. We're building a wall and a fence with Syria. We're surrounding Israel by walls. And soon will be a dome, because we have this weapon now to shoot the missiles. And yeah, we are a castle. We are building a castle, a fortress in the Middle East, and we are living in this castle under siege. Yes, it has to cost. It has to cost a lot.
Alon Liel, I want to thank you for joining us on JN1 News.
Thank you very much.